Kim and Greg are on assignment in the nation's capital. Greg will actually join us live coming up very shortly. But first, fighting among town leaders in Kittery has reached a boiling point, prompting the town's top 2 leaders to resign. That's right. News 13's Brad Rogers looks at some of the issues that led up to those city officials calling it quits.
In Maine's southernmost town, things went south in a hurry for Kittery's 2 top administrators.
Actually, I got a meeting.
Kittery's police chief, Paul Callahan, just started in January. So did town manager Bob Markle. 11 months later, they've both resigned.
There was a demand that I fire by the union and by some members of the town council. I have refused to fire the chief.
Markle says the police union took a vote of no confidence last summer in Chief Callahan. But he says the chief has been doing a great job. He says Chief Callahan has increased patrols and made other changes to improve the department.
Well, there's change. Wherever there's change, there's going to be, discontent. I understand that. I understood when I came here that, they wanted me to change things. I had my marching orders to change things.
After Chief Callahan resigned, Markle says he felt he had no choice but to do so as well. In his resignation letter, Markle leveled accusations against 3 members of the town council, saying they, quote, have interfered with personnel administration and acted in direct violation of the town charter.
It's clear to me that there has been some direct interaction between several members of the council and municipal employees.
Jeff Brake is one of 3 councilors Markle accuses of overstepping their authority.
We manage the town manager. That's what council does. He manages all your department heads. So, that it's just a chain of command that you go down through. And I don't think I've broken any of it.
Of course, it may all be water under the bridge now that the town manager and police chief have resigned.
I thought the chief was okay. Every time we had a problem on our street, he was right there and took care of us.
Town manager Bob Markle has put in his 45-day notice. As for Chief Callahan, he says he'll stay on the job at least through the end of the year. In Kittery, Brad Rogers, News 13.
And no word yet on when the town council will begin their search for a new town manager and police chief.
Well, new honors and new revelations today involving Maine Senator Olympia Snowe. Senator Snowe is winding down her time in Washington, now just a few weeks away, and both Greg and Kim are there this week with her. And today, for the first time, she confirmed speculation that President Obama once offered her a position in his cabinet. Greg Lagerquist is live now from Washington with the exclusive details you will only see on News 13. Greg?
Well, thanks very much, Jeff. As you can imagine, the senator is extremely busy this week trying to wrap up a more than 3-decade-long career here on Capitol Hill. Her office right now is filled with cards and well wishes and things like that, not to mention a lot of boxes and packing tape as she gets ready to move out. Now, Kim and I are getting some behind-the-scenes access to the senator right now, talking with her about some of her most powerful memories from her time in office and seeing her cast some of her final votes in the Senate as well. A perfect time, we thought, to ask her to clear up a persistent rumor that she was offered a top post in the Obama administration in either late 2008 or early 2009, shortly after the president took office, when there was a lot of talk, as you'll recall, that the president wanted to have a Republican in his cabinet. Now today, for the first time, Senator Snowe confirmed that offer actually happened.
Well, there was an offer, yeah. There was. Well, I probably won't get into it right now, but I said, yeah, I was offered. I turned it down because, I was, in the Senate. I love the Senate, and this is who I am, and so, yeah, I did.
Now, you may be wondering exactly what offer did she turn down within the cabinet. She wouldn't confirm that, whether it was Commerce Secretary or something else. But again, she says there was an offer and she turned it down because she thought her place was in the Senate. So an interesting side note to history. Also today, a little bit of history, at least for Senator Snowe. She received one of the highest awards that any person can receive from the intelligence community today. In fact, it is the highest award not given to somebody within their ranks. It's the National Intelligence Distinguished Public Service Medal and Award presented by the National Intelligence Director himself, General James Clapper. Now, Senator Snowe says she is humbled by this award. She says she's humbled every day, in fact, by the service that the members of our intelligence community render on behalf of our nation, keeping us safe. She also tells us that these sorts of lifetime achievement awards that she's been getting here in recent weeks and months, sort of bittersweet for her.
it did remind me of the fact that, you know, my days are, you know, winding down here in the Senate and overall in this chapter of my life for legislative service to my state and to the country.
And quite a career it has been. In case you're wondering, by the way, all those mementos that she's accumulated over a more than 40-year career when it comes to public service, including the Maine legislature and here on Capitol Hill. What's going to happen to all that stuff? Well, she says she is working with the University of Maine in Orono to try to have a lot of those things preserved in the archives. We'll keep you posted on whether or not that's able to happen, but she is talking with them right now. As for much more on what is happening with Senator Snowe here in her final days in office, we'll have a series of special reports coming up on News 13 all next week, building to a special report coming up Christmas Day, a half-an-hour special, the Olympia years. In the meantime, for Kim Block, I'm Greg Lagerquist, live here on Capitol Hill. We'll send it back to you, Jeff.
All right, great to have you guys down there. We're getting some inside information, Greg. Thanks. Well, new at 6 tonight, Governor LePage is calling off his beef with Democrats over the so-called tracker that has been following him to public events. Governor LePage had refused to meet with Democrats and had canceled a meeting on December 4th to talk about the state's finances, specifically the $100 million deficit in Maine Care that was announced in late November. Well, today he told our cameras he's done fighting over the issue.
I am working for the Maine people. I'm not working for the tracker. I asked them to, you know, I think generally speaking, trackers are during election cycles. They've elected to put a tracker on me for 2 years. That's fine. I'll deal with it. As far as the Democrats, I will talk to Democrats anytime they have something worthwhile to say.
Well, the governor says talks about budget issues can resume whenever the Democrats put something in writing for him to look at.
The CEO of Hostess says he feels terrible that employee wages, which were supposed to be paid into their pensions, were used to keep the sinking company afloat. So the Bakers Union battle with the company continues tonight. News 13's Catherine Underwood joins us now live in the studio with the latest on this. Catherine?
Well, Adrian, when the Bakers Union went on strike, they said it was for many reasons, but their sticking point was always pensions. Employees kept telling us Hostess was stealing their money. Now we're beginning to understand why they were saying that. We spoke with John Jordan today, a Bakers Union rep with Local 334. He says back in November of 2010, employees and the company agreed to send 28 cents of their 30 cents an hour wage increase directly into their pensions. Less than a year later, the company suspended pension contributions, saying it could no longer afford to pay into the plan. At first, employees were told that was temporary, but the contributions were never restored. In a recent interview, Hostess CEO Gregory Rayburn admitted, quote, whatever cash the company had was being used to fund the business. In response to union claims that Hostess was stealing wages to fund the struggling company, Hostess issued a statement saying, in part, over the course of several decades, various labor bargaining units for Hostess brand employees negotiated the right to convert portions of their future wage increases to pension contributions. Once the bargaining units exercised these rights, such future amounts became permanent pension contributions that were separate and distinct from wages. Now, Jordan tells us over the years, those contributions added up to more than $4 an hour.
The employees were not receiving that money, but the company, Hostess, was not transferring those funds into the pension fund. They were using that money to keep themselves afloat. The workers are frustrated. The legal system has not held up what they feel their end of the bargain. That money is theirs. The company has acknowledged that it wasn't theirs to spend in that letter from Driscoll, and now they've found a way to maneuver around the courts and find a way out. It's a loophole that's allowed them to steal the money, and it hasn't allowed us to get it back.
The Bakers Union says employees are pleased to hear that the CEO is acknowledging that this was wrong. They're hopeful that the pension fund will recover some money in court, but they're not expecting much. Jeff?
Well, an update tonight on the remains of a woman found in Lisbon last week. Tonight, investigators confirmed those remains belonged to Christiana Fesmeyer, the Lewiston woman who was murdered by Buddy Robinson back in July of 2011. State Medical Examiner's Office says Fesmeyer received facial fractures in the attack that led up to her death. This was the scene last week as officials investigated the crime scene where her body was found. Buddy Robinson was found guilty of killing Fesmeyer back in November. He is awaiting sentencing.
Fire destroys a condominium in Westbrook this morning. It happened at this complex on Villa Road that's just off of Route 302. The fire destroyed one condo unit and caused damage to another. No one was home when the fire started. Investigators say it began in the living room. Now, this fire is not considered suspicious, although the damage is so bad they may never know the exact cause. Neighbors spotted the smoke and flames. They called 911. They say a father lived in that home with his children.
I grabbed my phone and just called 911, and they're like, nobody's called, and I'm like, it's fully engulfed, you know. And he said, we're on our way, and I said, thank goodness.
Neighbors have started to collect donations to help the family who lived here. Rescue crews took a firefighter to the hospital for an injured ankle, but he's expected to be okay. There are some new developments tonight in that fire at an apartment building in Wyndham. The fire happened Friday, and a criminal investigation is now underway. The fire caused serious damage to a building owned by Donato Corsetti. Corsetti is also the owner of nearby Corsetti's Market, and he had recently lost the apartment building to foreclosure. Fire investigators say the fire is arson. The state fire marshal says an employee at the nearby market found Corsetti inside of the building entangled in something. They think he could have become entangled as he tried to escape the fire. Officials have not made any arrests. They say that Corsetti is cooperating with this investigation.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Charlie DePresti.
Welcome back, everyone. Sure was nice to get some sunshine back today. We have, of course, had the clouds early this morning, but the sun made a welcome appearance. Get used to it. Sunny skies will dominate our weather for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In fact, here's your 3-day forecast. Mid to upper 30s tomorrow, lower 40s on Thursday, Friday. A slight warm up, mid 40s. Normal high temperature for the state is 39 degrees. Again, lots of sun courtesy of high pressure building in. Hey, we had lots of sunshine this afternoon. Took a little while to get rid of the clouds, and there is a little ribbon of clouds over southern areas. We captured some of those. Actually, this is a viewer photo coming in from Debbie and Kenny Bunkport. Nice little sunset right there. Notice a few clouds on the horizon, so a pretty evening out there. Of course, that sunset is getting later and later with each day. We had our earliest sunset of the year over the weekend. Now, the days keep getting shorter and shorter as we approach the solstice later next week, but at least good news in the forecast. That sunset is getting a little bit later by only a few seconds each day, though. A few more clouds to our west. Skies will be mainly clear as we head into the day tomorrow, so a mostly sunny day for tomorrow. Here's a look back at your time lapse. This one, our Raymond Skycam time lapse. Cool clouds right there. A few clouds way off in the distance back in the mountains. Skies will stay clear with clear skies and light winds. Temps will fall quickly. Most towns are in the 30s here at the coastline, 34 in Portland. Heading back through Wiscasset, you're around the freezing mark. Look at Lewiston, already down to 30 degrees, lower 20s, upper 20s for you in Augusta, Freiburg, Berlin, New Hampshire. You are in the 20s. You are candidates for teens tonight. Here at the coastline, I think overnight lows will generally be in the 20s, so quite a bit cooler than last night. There is a disturbance offshore. You can easily make that out right in there. A little stationary boundary is going to stay offshore. Back at home, we have a big bubble of high pressure building in. As long as we have the big blue H over us, that means we'll have sunny skies in our forecast. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all look very nice. A very pleasant stretch of weather is heading our way. Here's storm trackers starting tomorrow morning. I think we start in the 20s early in the day. So a cool start, but hey, it's December after all. Normal highs are in the mid to upper 30s. That's basically where we will be tomorrow. I expect Thursday to be just as nice. If anything, a few degrees warmer or not as cool. We start in the 20s early in the day, but afternoon highs warm to around 40 degrees. Now, a lot of folks have been saying, Charlie, where the heck's all the snow? Well, I think our best chance for some snow will be Sunday into Monday. In fact, our weather pattern should become much more active next week. Our first in a series of storms should arrive Sunday into Monday, and if it tracks right, it could bring some snow to the area and some accumulating snow. So we'll continue to monitor that. In the near term, though, looks like the sun will dominate our weather right through Saturday. Now, Jeff and Adrian, I mentioned the potential for a more active pattern. There's the chance for some snow Sunday, Monday, a possibility of another storm probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week. But these storms have to track just right for us to get the snow around here. So we'll watch that Sunday, Monday situation pretty closely.
And enjoy the sunshine in the meantime.
Yes, we will. Looks great out there.
Yeah, at least Charlie's not getting bored in the weather office. We
There
got some action now.
Gotta keep you on your toes, Charlie.
Always on the toes.
There you go. Hey.